Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Grave Matters. I'm Creepy Clown Girl, and alongside of me is the sleeping Wendigo. Hello, Wendigo.
Hello, Cece. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thank you, and how are you?
I am good.
Why don't we see who's in the chat before we introduce our guest tonight? I already see Chronopasta. Hi, Chrono.
Hello, Chrono. And I see Patience and Raven. Hello.
Let's see. Hi, Raven, the man behind the yellow line. So, who's our guest tonight, Wendigo?
So, tonight on Grave Matters, we have Director Void. Hello, Director.
Hello.
Hello, Director. Director is with us tonight. He is at work, so if you hear some background noise, quite all right. This is, Grave Matters. All things, do walk and make noise when it's dead. So
I'm about as dead can be.
right.
Especially my legs right about now.
Oh, it's so good to see Chrono. Turkey. So, Wendigo, I'm going to let you ask the first question.
All right, Director. So, how did you come up with your name? What is your channel, and what is your channel all about?
Well, for the name, that just happened to. That was a big thing I was working on for a while. Everyone knew me at one point. All you knew me at one point as Director Shadow at one point. But as I kept working on my stories and actually making more and more titles for each story, I decided that I was going to try and take my hand writing. So I had to, since my book was called The Void Archives, I honestly was sort of thinking that could work. And I, of course, talked with a lot of people, including CC and Wendigo, you Wendigo, and CC, to where I could help see if you guys help me figure out what I should do. And over time, we worked it out, and of course, I landed with all your guys' help on Director Void. Sort of like a non-the-nose thing, especially with a book, but it's better than that. It at least makes sense.
Yeah.
As for my channel, at the moment, I'm not really doing anything at the moment. I'm going to at some point. Believe me, I'm going to get something out at some point. Probably the one thing, and that'd probably be about it. But most of the stuff is going to be focusing my channel on more, at least doing one short video from one story in my book. Just doing a very short version of it, and then after that, it's mostly going to probably be a couple little things here and there, probably little hints about each story, maybe like little things I might throw in there for people to like listen to and just be like, just sort of get them thinking about the book and whether there's something else deeper behind the books than just the random stories that seem to have no connection.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting. Sorry.
That's saying I'm trying.
So how'd you come up with your name? Well, I know we helped you with Director Void, but your original name?
Director Shadow, that was just at one point. At one point it was Shadow Symbiote, because at one point I was a part of this one fandom, then I got into another fandom, and then I started doing more horror stuff, so I got to that. So Director Shadow at one point was I was a furry, not really much anymore, but the Director Shadow was for that one, which a lot of people have seen before. I've showed it on the Discord and everything. The picture of a anthropomorphic vampire bat that stood on two legs with wings for arms and stuff. And of course, that turned into the monstrous version of it, which then of course turned into Director Void, which is the human, which is the more human version and more closely resemblance to me.
Awesome.
Of course, there's going to be a couple little things to work on, especially in the stomach area, because I'm planning on getting a hold of Man to help me make it more physically me in a way, so it matches more directly.
Excuse me.
That'd be really cool.
It really would.
Yeah.
I know we've all worked on projects together, like The Lost City Under the Sand, which hopefully within the next month will be up. So that was a lot of fun to work with. A lot of great voices in that.
Yeah. I'm not making anything promises on that yet, but once I talk to a person, then we'll try and get out a time when come out. That's all I'm going to say.
Awesome. So you said you're a writer, which we already know, but for those that don't, he is a writer. I mean, when you sit down to write something, are you inspired by anyone or anything? And who would you say was your biggest inspiration?
Well, I would have to say that a lot of the inspiration I got was from a lot of old TV shows I watched when I was little. The thing is, these are like really old TV shows right before my time. I'm only 23, and I'm going to be 24 this year. But when I was younger, whenever I first started watching like old TV channels, I watched stuff like The Twilight Zone, Alfred Hitchcock, Thriller, the TV show, the song, and the Night Gallery, stuff like that. Sort of like gave me an interest in just like the storytelling aspects and just how like you can create this entire world and like something so minute as a donation box. Because in one thing I always found interesting was the Twilight Zone episode where these people think they're trapped in this like walled off area, but then whenever one gets out, spoilers, but it's really old, so you kind of should see it now. He climbs out of the thing, and apparently he is a toy. And then a little girl picks him up, puts him back in, and he's alive again. So it's like the unknowingness of what is beyond these like barriers that these people have up, and like what is outside of those barriers, and what could be hiding behind every hidden wall, behind every hidden secret passageway, all these different things. And for as writing wise, it would inspire me had to have been like H.P. Lovecraft, Edgar Allan Poe, and just like two of the like one who wrote more of a poetry style-esque way, and H.P. Lovecraft who wrote more of a universe where things were unexplainable.
That's a lot of amazing talent there as far as writers go. A lot of inspiration. Because they are amazing writers.
And when I think you asked me when I sit down, what do I do exactly?
What?
So usually, I think you asked me what I do whenever I'm getting ready to start writing something. I think, but if you didn't, basically the thing is, whenever I sit and write, I usually just write out. I just come up with title first, which usually some people will do that last. I come up with that first, and then I try to base the story off the title as best I can, and just sort of flesh out different characters and places and things like that.
I think that's a good idea. And you have a different writing style about how you do the dialogue. when you write stories?
Mm-hmm.
How the
Yeah,
preparation-
whenever I write it, sometimes it'll depend on the story. I'll either write it where I put the character's name with the dialogue that he's speaking. Then if there's someone else in the scene, I'll put that character's name with their dialogue. And if I decide to add more, I will. But then if I don't feel like that's enough, I just move on to descriptive stuff. Sort of just like the bigger paragraphs that just describe everything.
Well, the way you do it, it makes it very easy for a person to know their character and to narrate their character.
Mm-hmm. That was my plan, and it does seem to work because I can easily go back and read where I left off and be able to figure out where I need to continue on from there. So it helps both the reader, but also helps me to figure out where I left off and where I could go from there.
Exactly. I like how you do it. Makes it way easier. It's like, okay, so I got this many things. Okay, this is my character. And it makes this reading the story a lot more simplistic. Simplistic, I think is the right word. So it's like, oh, okay, I got this. Because it was like really comfortable and easy to read The Lost City Under the Sand, and it's like, okay, I want more. Thanks.
And while you have seen what I've written for that one needs a slight modification because it's probably going to be written a little bit different compared to the way it is now.
I think
wait.
the way it is.
Because you've seen how different that is compared to some of the newer ones I've written so far, that they have two completely different styles to them. But this one these other ones are going to be more, a little bit more the same as the more recent ones I've worked on. But also there's going to be, since then, something new has popped up that's going to be added into this specific story for a very good reason. But only a select few know what that reason is, and everyone else is going to have to wait for that specific reason.
I know.
But I say, you definitely know, Wendigo knows, a couple other people know, but barely anyone else knows.
I know nothing.
And I've kept this very close to my chest, mostly. Unless I need like something to jumpstart my brain to be able to come up with an idea to sort of flesh it out a bit more.
Yeah.
So when you're writing and stuff, I mean, do you get evidently you enjoy it. I mean, like, do you get the enjoyment while you're writing the story, or like the ending of it is like, wow, or just the whole concept of writing and watching the story and the characters develop and creating your own little world, your own little paradise?
Well, I would first say, whatever my story is anything but a paradise. It is literally just these entire stories are just basically a murder box. basically think almost like from the movie My Cabin in the Woods.
Right. Body parts.
Think that I think that every person is a very specific spot, and all I have to do is just like throw the character in there, just like the coin, and boom, it's there. There's no in the stories. I don't think in any of my writing I've given a reason for why something's there, but not to get into spoiler detail, which I'm not going to. There's just it's just like sometimes things sort of pop up for some reason. Do I know why? Yes, I know why. Does anyone else know? No.
Well, if we
So
all
in a
knew
way,
why,
huh?
if we all knew why, then the suspense wouldn't be there. If we listened or read the book, now would we?
Exactly. Well, yes, it would make sense. Like in certain stories, yes, I may show something, but it would. It's not. I'm not going to just be giving the book to someone and be like, "This is what happens." This is basically going to be something people are going to have to read into and figure out over time. And maybe on my YouTube channel, I might throw some little tidbits here and there, throw some little breadcrumb trail, throw a breadcrumb trail out, just see if anyone follows it.
So when it comes to writing, like you're sitting down, you're writing the story, do you find yourself, like the story I'm doing for Sleeping Thought for Bone, every story has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an ending. Like me, I've already, got the beginning and somewhere in the middle, but I haven't, but I already have the direct ending, but I don't have the ending yet. So when you're writing, do you find yourself jumping back and forth between the beginning, the middle, and the ending, and the final ending?
That would depend. That would usually depend on the story. Usually, when I start writing, I will keep writing. Then, if I feel like I need to edit something, I'll edit it on the spot. But usually, once I write something, because usually, I'm telling you right now, the stuff I've written down at first in that little book of mine, some stuff has changed from one of those stories. A lot of stuff has changed from one of those stories. And one of those stories, is of course, is two stories that are actually combined together now because of one specific character, that Wendigo, and I know exactly which character are connected into that one. And why this specific person is in this predicament in the story following the first one. Following that? So yes, things have changed a little bit, because at one point, the story that I'm referring to, I'm not going to get a title. At one point, these were two separate people. But as I wrote this, I sort of thought to myself, why would this? Because all my stories, no one survives. That's one thing I'm saying. No character survives that don't get attached. Just saying that right now.
Damn it.
But there is this person survives, so I needed a reason for this person to still be alive, but end up dead. So I end up deciding, well, then in this case, if this person is still alive, then maybe something is going to happen that's going to get him in a specific position where he'll end up dead.
Well, with the exception of Director Boy, which character would you say is your favorite and was the most fascinating to write?
First off, Director Boy has nothing to do with this whatsoever. But Director Boy is just basically the persona I made for myself for the author-wise. But if I had to say one character I created, I'll say I like all of them for different reasons. But most of mine aren't even really the people that die in the stories. It's more the creatures that I've created over these few stories I've written so far, and the future ones I have planned for. It's mostly the creatures I enjoy the most, because they're something that you can just like mold into anything you want, and it can just fit without having to be a perfect puzzle piece.
Right.
So yeah, mostly it's the creatures I enjoy more than I do the actual humans in these stories.
Mr. Boyd himself is, pretty well, what's the
Scary.
word? You know, no
Interesting.
hope, or it's like you're dead. Forget it. No exceptions. Check out. Thank you. It's like, damn. No mercy on your end. Shit.
Oh, I
I'm
guess
not
she has one bring
I'm
her.
not only a writer. Because if you were a real
Yeah,
killer, oh, this world would be
that's the way.
screwed.
That's just the way. That's the way I think. That's the way I. That's how I just think as a director. That's how I think because I'm like any regulated person, 6 years old, doing there's like a chance that you're not. And if whatever these creatures are that are to, they're not really gonna be stopped very easily. So it's like, are you really gonna get away with this? It's just gonna be a farce.
Yeah, you scare me.
Well, I think as a writer in that situation, I would probably have to, especially for people to be like, this author is nuts.
Real quick, let's say hello to Lady Spookaria. Hello, lady. Thank you for stopping by.
Hello, Lady Spookaria.
Our nuggy queen. Always great to have her here. Do you have a question for Director Wendigo?
Yes, I do. So, director, since oh shoot, hold on. Since starting your channel and your books and where you are in both as of right now, where do you see them both going in the future?
Well, the channel for one, I don't know how far that will go because one, I don't do my own editing because for the life of me, cannot. I've tried doing it, I can't do it. I've tried different ways, and I'm just terrible at it for one. So if that was to, okay, let's leave that off to the side for now. If my channel was hooked up with everything else, the books and everything, I'm hoping that if I can get them out in time, enough of them, that they get noticed. I'm hoping that maybe somehow at least the book series can become TV shows, while the two solo ones can become full-length films, which I would like to be a part of and also direct. Because I feel like if I let anyone else do it, they would mess it up. That's just the way I am. I like to be able to hone my own abilities to be able to do all these different things. And if that means having to be on a physical film set, and learning on the ground how to do different things, that's what I would like. Because I honestly like making things. That includes the stories, but I also like to some point do something with film. Does that mean, do I think I'm going to get to that point? Maybe. Will I? But do I think right now? Probably not, because it would be a very long trek to get to that point. But if all this was to work out that way, I would definitely want to use my channel as like a maybe like a little thing connected to the TV series, like some place you can come and look for clues, maybe like little hints and stuff that get thrown to people like once every few months or so, and just use it as like almost like what one person does. If you've ever heard of like the back rooms or the Baddington tapes or the Five Nights at Freddy stuff that have been doing with like VHS tapes, something like that, but not as well produced, but something more like raw and something that you can actually probably see IRL.
I could see that.
I could see that. I will learn how to spell here one of these days. Pay no mind to me.
You got it, Cece.
Yeah, yeah. Just keep talking, you guys. My brain's like, you want me to connect what to what again? Okay. All right, there. I text. I think it's, there's, I think like my poems about war, it's always been my dream to go to the wall and read them to our soldiers, you know. It's just seeing that dream come true, you know. It's just something you have to work for or towards.
And I think another reason this type do this is because I want to be able to show like people that even if it's horror, it doesn't mean, because there's a lot of times I get sick of this, but whenever they have certain scenes in horror films that I know every time you have grown adults in the woods, in a cabin, one of them's a pothead, one of them's a cheerleader, one of them's a jock, you don't need to have them doing anything in the cabin.
Why did I just have a flashback to Breakfast Club? Anyways.
Because it's just like stuff like that. It's like you don't need to have all this stuff. You don't need to have that anything more related for it to make sense. If you do, yeah, use it. But if it doesn't make sense for the plot, don't use it.
Right. So as a writer, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh no, I was finished. Go ahead.
Oh. So as a writer, I mean, for people getting into writing, and new and upcoming writers, do you have any good advice for them that might help them?
I haven't really known it that long, but I can at least give some pointers from what I've been experiencing over time. Whenever you're working on something, don't overdo it. Don't exhaust yourself to the point where you're constantly writing to the point where you lose focus on the story, or it doesn't start to make, like if it starts to get to the point where the story doesn't make sense, maybe you need to take a couple things away from the story and end it at a different point. And if you need to, sit down, get a book, get like a notebook or something you can keep notes in, and just work on one story at a time. Just take notes. Start whatever you want to start with. Like for me, I usually start with the title at the top of the piece of the page. Go down, get characters, creatures or beings, locations, times, anything like that. Just take time and just sort of work on the story. And just find a writing style that fits you personally, that you feel is a way you can get your story across in a way that people can both enjoy reading, but also make it easy for them to understand.
That's good advice. Pace yourself, don't overwork yourself, and don't drown the story.
And of course, and one thing I'd say, if you don't want to use your actual name on the book and sort of just keep everything private, keep your life private, I would suggest going with a pen name that you feel would reflect either your stories or you personally. This author, is this pen name something you sort of see yourself as you're writing these stories? Do you see yourself as a well-dressed, almost aristocratic type person, or do you see yourself as more of a scholar in a room full of scrolls? It's like come up with some type of, if you need to, come up with a pen name, or you can use your actual name, doesn't really matter. But if you don't want to, if you want to keep them more private, I would suggest going with a pen name just to sort of keep things a little bit more private. When things start to, if things start to become more, if your stuff starts to become more noticeable.
Right. Good advice. That way you can kind of keep it private. Wendigo, I believe we have a question from Chronopasta.
Yes, we do. So, Director Void, Chronopasta asks, zoom 70 years into the future. There is a dystopian existence, and your older self is in dire need of any substance of your choosing. You can send one message back in time to your younger self. What is that message?
Good question.
Can you kind of clarify that with me a little bit? I'm trying to wrap my head. I think I get the idea, but I still need a little bit of clarification.
Dystopian existence. I know it says here your older self is in dire need of any substance of your choosing. You can send message back in time to your. Okay, Chrono, is this supposed to be two different messages or is it one question put together?
So in other words, you're 70 years old.
In a dystopian world.
Yeah, what substance would you be in dire need of, and what message would you send yourself, your younger self, in the past? Okay, Chrono said something.
Well, okay, Chrono said one question put together. Okay, so it's one question put together. Okay.
Okay, so I'm in a dystopian, 70 years in a dystopian world, and I need some type of sustenance for myself, my older self. But I also am wanting to send a message to myself in the past.
The younger you.
Okay, so for sustenance, if I could find it anywhere, it would definitely be fried chicken. Because one, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with good fried chicken, especially if it's homemade fried chicken.
No, you can't.
Or at least, or if I'm lucky, and open hibachi if there's still one open.
Oh, that's funny.
And if I had to send a message to my younger self, honestly, I don't know, because anything I would send back could possibly change something to the point where I never did any of this type of stuff in the first place. So I'd have to say I'd probably just like, maybe if it was like a way where I didn't physically send a message, but more of a what's the word? Something that you put in your head, something that is put a subconscious word in his head, put a subconscious word in my younger self's head. And I think that subconscious word would probably be void. So it would make sense of how I ended up getting the idea for the different stories.
Right. Like what's the one thing that you would you're 70 years old, you know, you've made it. You're a director, you're a writer. You know, you've been through changes, growth, failures, weaknesses. What's one thing you would tell your younger self in the past to try to not alter or drastically change the future, but to try to avoid in the future?
I would probably say, just tell myself, just give myself like reassurance, basically, like, don't give up. People may tell you this and tell you that, but always remember that you are the author of your. Remember, you are the one. You have a creative mind, and that you cannot let it go to waste.
Good.
To make sure to use it, and just create things to either enjoy or to improve yourself in a way.
That's great advice for your not only yourself but everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I don't know what Chrono's saying. So, I don't know if he's going to join us afterwards or not. That's great advice. Real quick, I'm going to do the commercial. Join us next week for a Great Patty's Day on the 16th of March, 8 Central, 9 Eastern. It's open show night. So if anyone wants to join, please let myself or Wendigo know. Also letting you know the last two shows of this month, the 23rd and the 30th, we will be taking 2 weeks off. So we will, after a Great Patty's Day, we will return in April. Just letting you know.
Here, I can get the dates real quick for you.
Okay. I think so.
On the 23rd and the 30th. Yeah, you're correct. We will not be here.
No, we will return in April. So, hope to see a lot of you. If you would like to join us again for the open show, just let one of us know. Love to have you. Rono. Josie. Lucaria. So, Wendigo, do you have another question for Director?
Yes.
And there's no other question in the chat?
I don't see no other questions in chat.
Okay. All right.
So Chrono. I mean, Director.
Chrono.
I'm losing my mind, dang it. I'm losing my mind.
We all are.
So, Director, do you believe in the paranormal? And if so, do you have any experiences you would like to tell us about?
Paranormal? No, not really. I was raised in church I was raised in church, and do I believe in supernatural stuff like ghosts or spirits? Technically no. But since I was raised biblical in a church family, I do believe in like angels, demons, and stuff like that. And I do feel like whenever people mess with that stuff, I feel like it's probably not a very smart idea. It's basically like going up to an alligator and poking it with a stick, for one. Which I would be very far from that. I'd be like, okay, you have fun with that. I'm gonna be over here where it's safe.
Fair enough.
So it's like I don't believe in ghosts, but more biblical stuff I do believe in. Which I know not everyone does. I'm not saying everyone. Yeah, I'm not saying. And I'm judging them, but it's just like me personally. That's what I believe.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Have I felt like stuff? Have I felt like stuff is looking over on my shoulder? Yeah, I've had that a couple times, but no, who hasn't?
True.
So you don't know anyone that had a paranormal experience?
Nope,
Or
not really. I do have
experience?
Nope. Most of mine is just basically just when I was always being a kid, scared of the dark. That was most of my issue, to the point where I would imagine things, but I don't really believe any of it was ghosts. I just think it's more my active imagination getting away from me.
And this is coming from a horror writer, you guys. Which is good.
I was about to say you have seen firsthand how terrifying I make a creature. Even one that's supposed to be adorable, I somehow make it disgusting. I'm good at that. I'm good at taking the sweet and beautiful and turning it around.
That actually just gave me an idea for something, director.
Oh no. And what's that?
I'll let you know after the show. It's a pretty good idea.
Oh boy.
I believe we have a question from Josie.
Yes, we do. So, director, Josie wants to know, what are some long-term goals you have for yourself?
Long-term goals would be one, getting this first book finished, getting it published, and getting things sort of rolling for the next one. Because I have titles already laid out, I have details. I just need to get this first one finished so I can go into the second one, get it rolling. And then once I get these volume ones done, when I get to the main books, to the two novel technically ones, I guess, that one will take a little bit longer to do, since it's going to be a lot more pages and a lot more to rewrite. I guess my goal is to start to get myself in a author situation, more published, get more stuff published, and from there just see what happens.
Those are good goals.
They are.
Any other goals?
Wouldn't mind losing a little bit of weight. That'd be nice, but that's gonna take a while. And I guess another goal would have to be, after getting the books published, if they do well enough, getting myself somehow getting my foot in the door of this very specific movie company and try to present everything I've written to them and have them and ask them to help me make these different things a more physical reality.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Exactly. Let's say people say, "Oh, you need to hurry and get the stuff out there quick." I'm thinking, if I do it slow, it just means it'll draw more people in, and it'll make them want it more. There's no point in rushing it.
Exactly. Just take your time, and what's meant to be will be, and things come to good things come to those who wait. That's the best.
And even if I don't end up making it into a film, all I know is I got in book form and I'm making bank.
Right. You can also look at it, for your future self, your future family, your children. Even if you start working on your channel, do like little stories here and there, even with your writings, what have you. No matter what, you leave something behind. And like my channel's not that active, I am, by the way, everyone 8 subscribers away from 1K. So wish me luck, but if it's my time, at least I leave something behind for my family and friends. So that's what matters the most. Hello, Derringer. I'm really excited about that.
And if I'm lucky, I have something very special planned for whenever I get to very, very, very specific set of books that I'm writing. When I get to a very specific place, I will have a little surprise, which will have to wait. Which I'm not going to say now because we'll have to see what happens in the future. It's an idea I have, but for the moment, I'm going to keep that to myself.
Darn it! No secrets.
Like I said, I don't lay my cards out on the table. I keep them
I
very
know.
close to the chest.
And you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's great. You know, you don't want to. A gambler never reveals all of his cards. So.
If I laid my cards out, if I tried laying my cards out, we'd be here for another 3 hours.
Right. We have a question from Chrono.
Yes, we do. If you could make a movie, how true of... Hold on. If you can make a movie, how true to the movies are you wanting to keep them, given the nature of Hollywood? Scratch that, if not, but when. Wait, what? Now I'm confused.
That is a good question. I get what he's saying. If I was to make a story into a movie, how true do I want to keep it? With Hollywood, yes, it would be difficult. But I've put little details in there that only I know, and a couple people do here, and a couple people that are here do know. I have very specific details in this that are so defined that they wouldn't have no choice but to keep it the exact same way, because I put very specific details in this that without it would not work. So they would have to keep it as true as as straight as an arrow, as true as I've written it, and they'd have to follow every single little thing. Yes, we would be able to. They could expand on it a little bit, but not to the point where it's going to change everything.
Chrono says, "Scratch that.
What?
Not if, but when."
When, not if, but when. Well, when that happens, that's what I'm going to do. I have a couple tricks. This director has a couple tricks hidden up his sleeve.
Yeah.
And
I can't wait.
I'm not gonna be pushed over like everyone else. They want to they want to change something. They can either let me go to someone else and do it, and they can lose every bit of revenue for any bit of their revenue from it, or they can get either that, or they can follow every bit of instructions I have.
Well, you know how Hollywood is, but I do believe we have a question from Josie and Chrono.
Yes, Josie asked, if you had a biography movie made about yourself way in the future, who would you want to play you?
That's a good question.
And then Chrono's is above Josie's afterwards.
Chrono-
But go ahead.
Yeah.
I think for Josie's, I don't know. Because it'd be a lot of different stages. At one point, I was a baby, I was a redhead. A little bit older, I had blondish white hair. And then I got my brown hair. And I was skinny when I was younger, and then I was fat. So it would just be a conveyor belt of different people popping to play me, because it'd be so confusing. It would just have to be, I don't know. And as for actor wise, for like when I'm older, I don't really know, because not really many actors look like me, so it'd be very difficult to get a close resemblance.
I came up with William Shatner.
William Shatner playing me.
Yes.
don't even think I remember who William Shatner is. Hang on a second. Wait a
Captain
minute.
James T.
William
Kirk.
Shatner. What?
James T. Kirk.
He's a bit
Thomas
old, don't
J.
you think?
Hooker from P.J. Hooker.
William Shatner's a bit old, don't you think? Not that old.
I don't know. He popped
No,
into my head.
Chrono
I
says,
think-
"What? Heathen?"
What'd he say?
Chrono goes, "What? Heathen?"
I'm not wrong, William Shatner. It's just I still find it funny whenever when he's Captain Kirk. He does have that like way he talks, just like pause in between each word he says.
Then he goes, "You don't know Captain James T. Kirk?"
Well, it took me a second. It's been a while.
But we'll let you think about that. And
I think. Well, let me think. If I had to choose a person, maybe somehow one of the kids from Stranger Things could probably pull it off. Maybe one of them could. I don't know. Or maybe someone, if they can find a new actor who looks pretty similar to me to do it, then that would work. If not, maybe just using some deepfake technology and just doing that somehow. I don't know.
oh God, I can't.
Something like that. I'm not really sure.
I don't think I would want to jinx them. But if it pops into your head before the show's over, just let us know. But we do have a question from Chrono.
Yep. And Chrono is asking, would you take a co-director or a co-producer role?
Actually, well, yeah, I should have clarified that before. I'm not saying I would go in there and say I want to direct this myself, like be the director. I would want a director there that I can learn under, so I can basically be someone he can teach me. He can sort of show me the ropes for everything and sort of just like give me some details I would need to know as a director in different perspectives of each thing. So I would want to be a co-director, but I'd want to be able to control my own stuff, but I also want to be able to learn from the director different aspects of each thing I would need to know as an actual director.
Well, there are a lot of amazing directors out there.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Oh, Anthony Hopkins. Anyways.
Sadly, some of the ones I would have liked to have met are dead.
I know, isn't that sad though? It really is.
Like Alfred Hitchcock, that would have been a director I want to be a protege under. He was really good at what he did.
I could just see you here's director Boyd and Alfred Hitchcock.
And honestly, me and Alfred Hitchcock are pretty similar, but that's mostly in the stomach.
Oh, you'd be fanboying. Don't even play.
I'd probably at least try to keep my cool. This guy was a serious guy, so it'd be like I'd want to at least try to keep my cool a little bit. On the inside, I'd be screaming. On the outside, I'd be calm.
You say that.
You say that, dude.
Yeah, I say that.
Someone else thought the same thing.
Of course, if he came back undead, I'd probably be screaming for a different reason, but with a loaded gun in my hand. But
so speaking of past people who have passed away, director, who would you want to write your eulogy, and who would you want to read it?
oh, that's a good one.
Yes,
I
Chrono.
think who I would. Oh, Lon Chaney. Oh, that was a good one too. But
right?
Cro-
I think for who I'd want to write it, I'd probably have to say it would have to be. Honestly, I'd want it to be the guy who wrote. Not many people are going to get this, but I want it to be the guy who wrote the Thrawn series books.
Hmm?
He's made different Star Wars. He's made some Star Wars novels. His name is. Let me look it up.
Huh. What is his name? Brain Connect. Well, while he's looking that up, we'll get caught up on chat.
His name is Timothy Zahn.
He's on. Never heard of him.
Or I'd want to read trilogy. It would either have to be between the brother. It would have to be the man who was voiced Thrawn in the Rebel series, or the man who played Davy Jones in the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Hmm.
Oh, wow. Mine would be Anthony Hopkins.
Then let me look up who the guy was who was the guy who voiced.
Oh, excuse me. Do we have any more questions, Wendigo?
It was Lars. It was Lars. It was Lars Mikkelsen.
Lars Nixon.
Lars Mikkelsen, the man who's the brother to the guy who played Hannibal in the Hannibal series.
Oh, wow.
I think.
Never heard of him.
I think the Lon Chaney Jr. or Boris Karloff was supposed to be a question. And Chrono just posted another question. Who would win in a wrestling match? Lemmy or God?
God and who?
Lemmy? I'm not sure who Lemmy is. I'm probably going to get hate for that one.
Who is
I'm not
Lemmy?
sure who that is either. I don't know either.
I know it's been a while since I watched wrestling, but holy shit, Raven goes. Trick question.
Lead singer of Motorhead? I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say God.
I bet Raven is rolling right now, and so is Chrono.
Yeah, I'm probably going to get a lot of messages in DM from both of them after the show.
When you said Lon Chaney and Boris Karloff?
Yeah.
Yep.
Lon Chaney Jr. or Boris Karloff, I think that's supposed to be a question.
I honestly like them both because they both have done their best in both of their fields. Lon Chaney Jr. as, of course, the Wolfman in the old black and white movies, and of course Boris Karloff playing, if I remember correctly, the monster Frankenstein.
Oh wow!
I remember. And he also played the Mummy as well during that time as well, in the old black and white movies.
Oh, I love the old black and white movies.
But if I have to say, I may like them, but my number one is always going to be Bela Lugosi as the Count Dracula.
Yes. My God.
Just because he was, I think, he was from somewhere in Romania. I'm not positive, somewhere around there, but he had that accent that just really worked for the character. That sort of gave it more depth.
Right. What's Chrono and Raven saying? We flubbed this one.
Yeah, apparently me and you have messed up somewhere.
Oh,
because,
shit.
because we don't know who Lemmy is.
Sorry.
No, that'd be three of us because I have no idea who it is either.
Chrono goes, Wendigo, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. That just means you're mad both ways.
Well, I listen to music, but when it comes to the bands, I sometimes don't really know it unless it really gets my attention. Like the very specific band I actually do like called Nine Eyes Kills. They are a really good band. They are a really good band.
Never heard of them, but it's like Motorhead. I don't even think I've ever listened to them. I don't know. Maybe I have.
I think
I don't think
Wendigo,
I've ever. Do what?
I'd say Wendigo. I think I sent you the audio of what Nine Eyes Kills sounds like. I think at one point.
Yeah, I think you did. I'm not sure how long ago that was. I don't even remember.
It was Welcome to Horrorwood.
Oh, it was that one. Okay, yeah, I remember that one now. Sorry, Chrono. Ace of Spades does not ring a bell to me.
Doesn't ring a bell to me either.
Chrono goes, Raven. Chrono goes, please help me educate them for the glory of Lemmy. Raven goes, no, not my job. They are lost. I'm sorry. What do you mean we're lost?
Maybe we should change the show to a lost grave.
I mean, oh god!
Instead of a Grave Patty's Day, we should change it to a Grave Lost Day. Oh god! I hope you can join us after the show, Chrono. This is too funny.
That's funny. That is funny.
So I think we have time for one or two more questions. But Director, I'm curious. You've been a bad boy. You did something bad, and now you're on death row, and they're going to serve you your last meal. What would it be, and what would your method of execution be, and what did you do to get on death row? It could be something silly as stealing a paintbrush.
Let me think. I think for me, the reason I got there would have to be because someone tried to hurt my family, and I basically went Candyman on him, ripped and cut him from groin to chest.
Oh, Candyman, yes.
I'd go that route for one. And for my last meal and how I would die, you know what? I was gonna say something very specific, but that would ruin a story, so I'm not gonna say that. I'm sure you guys can probably guess where I was gonna go with this. I was gonna say what I was gonna eat and how I was gonna die. I'm pretty sure. But I'd have to say my last meal would have, honestly, I'm saying it again because I really like it because I found a really good place that I like eating at. It's a hibachi. So that'd be my last meal would be a hibachi, a full-on thing, the full thing. Because one, hibachis are really good, especially if you find a really good one. And as for how I die, hibachi grill, basically where they cook the food in front of you.
Oh yes. Oh, that sounds good.
And as for how I would die, let me think. What's the quickest way and less painful? That's me. I don't do slow and painful. I do quick and painless.
I mean, if you want quick and painless, we can get a couple farmers and get one of the cattle guns.
You know, you can get a poisonous blowfish.
I'd rather not be brain dead. I'd rather be dead.
You
But,
won't.
You can get
You
a
won't be.
poisonous blowfish.
You mean you would want him to eat
what?
fugu? I think fugu would be painful.
I think I'll say what I said last time. Just a bullet to the head. It's so quick, I wouldn't even notice.
You probably wouldn't even feel a thing.
Probably not. I'd probably like, when are you gonna pull? Boom, gone.
Chrono says, "Ride the lightning and get his with 15 million volts."
Well, he evidently seems to think we could change you, Wendigo. Now I'm gonna have to go listen to Motorhead.
I'm sorry. I've never heard of the band. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I've heard of Smashing Pumpkins, which is a band, but I've never listened to the songs.
It's okay. I've never heard of Motorhead, so.
But yeah, that'd be it. That'd be it. That would be it. Someone tried to hurt my family. I'd just gut them straight up the middle, very slowly.
Sorry, Chrono.
And then last meal, hibachi, execution, bullet to the head, quick, painless, and done.
I'd want guillotine. But
I don't know. Those things were not reliable.
Name a song by Motorhead, and watch. I'm gonna know exactly who this band is, because I love all music. So.
Spookaria goes, "You never heard of Motorhead? What the hell?" And all in capital. Yes, I've never heard of the band.
Oh God! Somebody give us a song.
Derringer goes King of Kings, and Chrono goes Ace of Spades, which is their most popular song apparently.
Nope and nope.
Not ringing a bell. I'm gonna have to listen to them. So.
Of course, with me, my taste in music varies. I listen to YouTube made music. I listen to people who have their own music YouTubers have their own music stuff that they make. YouTube video game music. I listen to even classical music. Frank Sinatra, for crying out loud. Fats Domino.
Chrono goes, "I want to scream."
I'm just.
Go ahead. No one's stopping you.
But I tell you what, I will listen to Motorhead after I get out of VC, and if I recognize the songs, I will next week on Open Show, which I hope you're there. But I remember Motorhead.
Yeah, they're probably surprised I've heard of Smashing Pumpkins, but I've never heard of frickin' Motorhead. I'm probably gonna get hate over that too.
I feel like I'm one of the rare few who know who Ice Nine Kills is.
Who?
Ice Nine Kills. They're the band that basically make. I don't know. It's sometimes screamy, sometimes it's lyrical. Been a mixture of both, but they usually sing about. They usually just basically sing about different horror movies and put them into a song.
I don't like a lot of screaming. Looking forward to it, Chrono. I don't like a lot of screaming. It's like I want to understand the words, not. Okay, I have a migraine now.
Honestly, I can understand it perfectly. Because they do one like American Psycho, Umbrella. Pretty sure they actually did one on. Five Nights at I was gonna say Five Nights at Freddy's. No, Friday the 13th. I don't know why I was going about to say Five Nights at Freddy's. Which at this point, with Five Nights at Freddy's becoming a movie, I wouldn't be surprised.
You and Sabian have so much in common. I mean, when it comes to Friday the 13th or Five Nights at Freddy's, yeah, watch some of his stuff. You'd be like, what?
So, director, apparently you get a pass by Chronopasta because you know who Ice Nine Kills is.
There you go.
So, director.
Chrono, what's your favorite? What's the favorite song that they've done? You tell me yours, I'll tell you mine.
Hey, Chrono,
Again, you have to tell me. You have to tell me what he says.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to put it in chat. He said hard to pick, depends on the mood.
Oh, music.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
music depends on your
Honestly,
mood.
that's fair. Honestly, that's fair. I do like a lot. But one I listen to on repeat a lot is "Welcome to Horrorwood," just because that is the same type of feeling I want people to feel whenever they watch my film. Just gore and terror.
You'll have to send me the link to that song. I'm gonna check it out. But Chrono, last year, my friend Karen and I went to a concert. We got to see Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, Poison, Motley Crue, and Def Leppard. Motley Crue totally sucked, but the rest of them, they laid it down. It was an amazing concert, except for Motley Crue.
Chronopasta said he's been jamming to Stabbing in the Dark lately.
Ooh.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, must have that link too.
I think I have. I think I've listened to that one. I'm not sure. If I haven't, I'm going to. Because I've listened to the. Oh, go ahead.
I was just I was telling Cece what Chrono said. He said he was wanting to see Joan Jett for forever.
She looks just as good, Chrono. It was Joan Jett, the Blackhearts, then Poison, Motley Crue, and Def Leppard. Altogether, it was a 6-hour concert, and I'd have to say, they all laid it down, but Def Leppard closed it with a bang. They were all amazing except Motley Crue. The guy just walked around screaming, couldn't remember any of the lyrics to a song. There were people leaving, not only here in Arizona, but in Vegas as well. They were disappointed with Motley Crue. So, but yeah, she looked just as good.
Chrono says Stabbing in the Dark is on the Silver Screams album.
Okay,
Silver
that's why
Scream.
I think I've heard slight bits of it. The one thing that aggravates me so much, I actually went to Walmart and I tried to find a vinyl record of that album, and I cannot. I've looked on the app; it's on the app, but in the store, it ain't in the store. So I'm just like, why don't you have it in the store? Come on, just make it easier for me.
It's like when you go to find certain music. Like I went to a store called Zia's because I wanted to get some CDs from Journey, and they're like, we're not allowed to sell those. So
I even went up to an associate, a Walmart employee, and asked, "Do you happen to have Ice Nine Kills on vinyl record here?" He's like, "No, I don't think so." I'm like, "Oh, you're a lot of help. Thanks."
I'm definitely
I
gonna
didn't
have
say
to check
that.
those songs out.
I didn't say that. I said, "Well, all right, thank you." But in my head, I was thinking, like, I just really want a vinyl record, one of their vinyl records in my hand, because I love vinyl records. They may be old, but they still sound very good on a record player, especially when you get that first little pop.
I know several years ago I was at a thrift store, and I'm like, no, this can't be. I found my sister the VHS of Kiss Meets the Phantom and the vinyl album of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. She was really happy. Well, everyone, it is 8:25. So, Director, we're going to go ahead and let you say some words. Wendigo, thank you, and then I'll go ahead and close the show. Go ahead, Director.
Well, first off, I'd like to say thank you for having me on. I think I've been on here. Yes, I've been on here twice. So first, thank you for bringing me back again.
You're welcome.
And it was an enjoyable conversation, and I really do enjoy talking to you and doing this. This is really fun. Really, especially gives me something to do when I'm at work and I'm just trying to keep my mind distracted for a bit. And I just want to say to anyone who's listening, any future writers maybe, if anyone listens to this later on and just listens to it fully, not live, but just in the playlist, that never give up on what you want to do. I've been doing this not very long, but I've been doing it for a while. So I'm just don't give up. Just keep pushing. And if you need to take time and relax and get away from it for a little bit, just step back, refocus, and then when you feel like you can get back to it, just start at it again.
Great advice.
Really good advice. So I would like to thank everyone in chat for coming here. Thank you, Director, for coming on to the show once again. It was really fun to have you.
No problem.
Thank you,
I'm
CC.
always the life. I'm always.
Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say I'm always the life of the party, even if it's dead.
Go ahead, Wendigo.
I would like to thank you, CC, for allowing me to be a part of the show, and thank you, Raven, because without you, this show wouldn't be possible.
Exactly. I agree with Wendigo. Thank you, Raven. Thank you, Patience. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for coming. Awesome questions tonight. Remember, next week, a Grave Patty's Day. Hope to see you guys there. Then we'll be back in April. Thank you, Wendigo, for being here every week with me. You're awesome. Director, awesome interview. Really enjoyed having you here. Look forward to talking to you after the show. This channel needs 7 more subscribers to reach 400. Let's make that possible. And till next week, stay frightened. And if you do listen, the graves always whisper. And once you join the collective, you can leave nevermore. Good night, everyone.
Good night.